Welcome to another episode of the HCC MovieMakers Movie Reviews. I'm Reva Benoit.
And apparently I'm Soroosh Mehdi.
And we just saw Selfless.
Selfless is it actually stars Ben Kingsley, Ryan Reynolds, Natalie Martinez, and Matthew Good.
Selfless is a movie about an extremely rich man. He actually finds out he has less than 6 months to live, and he does not want to die, as no one does. And so he undergoes this extreme procedure where he decides to take over the life of another body that he believes to be a cell body. In the process of it, he finds out a little bit more about that particular body he's renting out, I guess, and he tries to go on the search to figure out what's really going on and the details behind it. Soroosh, what did you think of the movie?
You know, I think the concept of this procedure that we saw, it's actually pretty scary because if you really think about it, if any of this was, actually possible, this would be one hell of an insurance policy for a very rich, wealthy person. But,
I agree.
I think overall the film, I liked the intensity of this being a thriller in a way, but there's just a few twists and turns in the film that I just don't really agree with, the timing and the way they executed it. But
what I will say about it is, like you said, it would be kind of a scary thing if that was actually possible, and it really had me thinking about it at the moment where he mentioned, the scientist mentioned Steve Jobs, and I was like, well, that kind of is crazy the way everyone's kind of dying off, and so they have this movie come out, and it kind of plays with your mind a little bit. While watching the movie, I will say my reaction after seeing the movie was a lot different than my reaction a day after or 2 days after where we are now, and I liked the movie more whenever I was in it, and that's what a thriller is supposed to do. It's supposed to make you actually get into it, feel it, and ride through the ride with it, and I did. But after really thinking about the movie, I think that it was not thought out all the way. When I say not thought out all the way, I say for the fact that you have this ruthless man. At the very beginning, we see him close a deal or just basically shut down the guy that wanted to take over his real estate empire. And so you see him do something so ruthless as that, and he's like, I'm not gonna make it to a year. He's wrong. I probably have less than 6 months. So you ask questions like, okay, so after he got this body and spent so much money to create a new life for himself and seemingly happy, why on earth would he even try to pursue the hallucinations that the doctor told him he was having, like to go find out and get to the bottom of what's really going on? If you're rich and you spend so much money for this, then why on earth would you even care at this point? You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of, it just
you're
really
expecting him to just stay ruthless as he was in the beginning. It's just, you didn't expect the turn that he makes.
And it's like, what was the motivation for the turn in the character of going from Damien to, what was the character's name that he changed to?
It was Mark.
Mark.
Was supposed to be the name of the body that he purchased.
Right, and so he would take these pills that would get him to get rid of the hallucinations, which were not hallucinations. It was actually memories he was recanting of the former person that had the body. So if that's the case, then you would think that he would still be in the same mindset that he was when he, shut down that poor guy that was just trying to come up in the world and take over his real estate empire. But for whatever reason, he had a change of heart, and I just really didn't see anything that made it go to that direction besides just the movie taking you through the ride.
Well, technically, I think the reason why he took that turn is when he met and actually got pretty involved. Obviously physically, and the fact that it was his consciousness in the previous dead body, which was Ryan Reynolds' body, because with these hallucinations, these so-called memories of the old body, he was looking into the life of that old body, and he was actually making a connection because he met the daughter of Mark, and he really thought that he took something away from them. He took a father away. So he started feeling for this family, and that's when at the end he decided that he's going to go ahead and let Mark come back. And then Ben Kingsley just was like, look, I'm an old man. I guess it's my time. I'm going to go ahead and leave this world and let the father come back and get a real chance to be a father to that child that he had.
Right,
So,
that's cute and all, but what I'm saying is, why on earth would they, he spends so much money. He spent, I forgot the amount that they said in the movie, but a ridiculous amount of money to get that body, to live longer, and it makes no sense for me.
Well,
At the time of watching the movie, I will say, in its defense, I did enjoy the movie watching it, because it did take you through the movie. But when you later on think about it at home, you're kind of like, yeah, that part didn't really make sense.
To arise.
It does.
You start thinking to yourself, like you stated before, I mean, Ben Kingsley's character was supposed to be ruthless, cutthroat. No, I'm going to look after my fortune. This is one of the reasons why, I found out that I'm dying and I don't want to die and I want to keep living and keep on this empire, keep it going. But I think that the turn of events here of him finding out that he obtained the body that he bought kind of immorally and technically illegally, because the body that they gave him was also taken, not really donated, because he was under the impression that this person died in a car accident or something like that.
No. He thought it was actually grown in the lab. It was like a cell being.
Sorry.
That's what the whole concept of it was, which kind of made no sense at all for me. But the thing is, the movie within itself was a good movie for the action and the thriller of it, because it did take you through the movie, but the logic sets in after the movie, which is a good thing. If you can get someone to go along with your story and make it believable, then that's a good thing. But of course, I mean, I'm smarter than that. So after a while, I thought about it, and it kind of, those little things did pop up in my mind, and I had questions. But like I said, if you can make someone believe you.
Is how exactly he went from being 100% ruthless, cutthroat, like totally looking out for himself, and then all of a sudden, just because he found out that it wasn't really a body that was grown for him, that it was taken, all of a sudden he's got a conscience. It came out of nowhere.
Right.
You're right. That's one of the overlying questions that I had when I was watching the movie. But again, like you, I do agree. It was a really good thriller. I would recommend it. I would actually give this film, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it, for thriller purposes, I'd say about an 8.
An 8?
In overall plot and the build up and then the storyline here, I'd have to give it a very weak. Oh man, I'd give it a 6.
I think that this is a movie that calls for 2 ratings. I do agree, for the thriller purpose and also just for the overall. I think I would give it a 7 for the overall movie, and I would agree with the 8 for the thriller purposes. So I recommend it. Soroosh, you recommend it?
I would recommend it. If you want a good thriller, this would be actually good. There are a lot of nice twists and turns.
Right, and it keeps you guessing. It does.
It does actually keep you guessing, and that's what I love about films these days. It's just some of the predictable ones. I get bored with it, and I just don't bother with it anymore.
Right, and it definitely makes you pay attention. Well, thank you for watching. This has been another episode of HCC MovieMakers movie review films. If you like movies, we love movies, you should actually go online to www.hccs.edu and enroll yourself into the filming program. We're brought to you by Houston Community College and also HCC TV.
You can also catch us on YouTube if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Catch more of our reviews in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for watching.
Right.